Welcome back into Great Day, Washington. Summer reading season is about to kick off, so why not have a great book ready to go? Finding Jackie is a new biography about Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, full of untold stories from a fresh perspective and reveals why she's still so famous today. And joining me now to share more is the author and local DC writer, Oline Eaton. Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
And I had to say professor at Howard University as well. You're teaching your kids to write.
Yes.
All right.
Indeed.
So they're going to be really excited to learn more about your book, of course. But why Jackie O? What is the fascination with her for you?
I think this story just caught my attention when I was 12, when she died. It was all over the place. There was this name Onassis that no one really talked about. And it was very Kennedy focused with dignity, class, grace, which I thought was all very boring. And there were these glimmers, these hints of this adventurous life that she'd led. And that really captured my attention, and I wanted to know more about that. So that was always the story I pursued, was the one that wasn't really part of the mainstream image. And I never expected to write about it. But I eventually did.
How did you find out about these stories and find out about this other side of Jackie O that we never hear about?
Just kind of, I think, somewhat reading roguishly around. And I was really interested. I collected tabloids as a teenager, as I'm sure every cool person does.
Oh, yes.
I collected vintage tabloids and was just really interested and just wanted to know more. I was curious and was trying to, as young girls, we're trying to build our own lives and figure out what kind of life we might lead, and hers just seemed to provide a template and kind of a way out of what I'd grown up in.
Okay, and we see her like this all the time, like prim and proper. I mean, obviously the fashion is phenomenal. What surprised you the most? What are we going to learn about her?
Well, I was really interested in her celebrity, and I am not a famous person, but the idea of like living your life and navigating it while there are all these stories about you alongside of your life, and kind of like fictional accounts of your life. And so that's why I was really interested in looking at the magazines and the newspaper accounts. My research process was reading newspapers every single day from the 60s and 70s to try to just reconstruct that story, the story of her life as it was told, as people would have encountered it, and then look alongside that at archival material and see what was actually happening in her life. And there's surprising number of times where they connect, and then there's a lot of times where they disconnect as well. But
can you imagine if she was living today? I mean, everything we see was just like the royals, like the fascination that would be happening with her. What is true, what is not, and I love how you're able to break that down for us. Why do you think she is still, even though she's not with us, why do you think she is still so relevant, so famous today? Why are people so drawn to her?
I think at the time, I think now she's kind of become an image and associated with style rather than substance. But I think part of her appeal, especially during the 1960 campaign, was that she was really like wicked smart and had interest in art and languages and had traveled, had spent a year at the Sorbonne when she was in college. And that was just very different from kind of the traditional femininity that was portrayed at the time through the first ladies. And I think that's a huge part of why her story was essentially, her celebrity after her time as first lady was so magnified, is because it was, again, she was just doing interesting things, traveling places that a lot of Americans would never have a chance to go to, and living independently. And I think that's a part of it that is a core part of, I think, why her fame has lasted as well, even though it's not necessarily the story we tell about her.
I love this, looking at the First Lady in this way, and more than what she was as we remember as a First Lady. I mean, and we've done stories with like Eleanor Roosevelt. She was like the driving force behind it. And there's so much that I feel like the First Ladies get kind of pinned in this, like they got to look fashionable, they got to look great. But they, for the most part, are like the strong one, right?
Yeah, I think it's really astonishing to think about, especially how the city landscapes would be so different without her. How she saved Lafayette Square Park here, and how she helped with the campaign to save Grand Central in New York City.
It's incredible.
And the historical preservation movement as we know it now. It got a big thrust forward with her.
She did so much.
And yeah, it's an astonishing legacy.
Well, congratulations. Thank you for
so
bringing
much.
This story to us.
Of
I hope your students are watching and very proud of Professor Eaton. Be sure to grab Finding Jackie for your summer reading list. It's available now wherever books are sold. It's a good one.